Exclamation, everybody, and welcome back to Cube Ramblings. For me, it is Saturday night, November the 7th, 2015. Recording this one a little bit earlier than usual, which is good because there's things on the list here. Don't know if I have enough for a full hour. I probably do. I'll probably make it that far. But I was able to get through the news rather quickly this week because it was mostly repeats amongst all the major publications I look at. So it was kind of a slower week as far as it goes. But that said, lots of things going on this weekend. BlizzCon is going on, a big Blizzard weekly or not weekly. yearly event that a lot of people are attending, and coinciding with that also the Extra Life Marathon, which is sweeping across the internet, various places, various people getting in on that. It's a charity event that runs every year. I don't know if they planned on it coinciding with BlizzCon, but it kind of has, so I don't know if that's been affecting the amount of donations going into it or not. But a lot of different organizations like Reddit and just gamers in general, streamers and gaming groups. I was watching Minecraft a little bit earlier. I was watching their UHC through. That was pretty cool. They all get together over this weekend, 24 to 48 hours. This is game day, is Saturday here. Try to raise money for Children's Miracle Networks, which is what the Extra Life tends to deal with. So all that stuff going on. Very busy weekend as far as all that is concerned, but not very busy as far as other news and whatnot. But I still have quite a bunch of things on here that I can talk about. Speaking of not very busy on the news front, I've gone through the Cube World information that I have this week, and there's only two pieces of information here. Got couple tweets from Wale this week, but mostly around that he's working on quests. You mentioned working on the Unholy Pact quests as well as Order of the Light quests. And NPCs can now do emotes, which are animated above their heads to let you know how they're feeling or what kind of mood they're in as you're going around. Give the NPCs a little bit more life to them. And that is that. I've looked to see if there's more music that has come out. There is not. It is mostly just a few bits and pieces of information there, but still getting some information, so that is always a good thing. Still no word yet as to when any kind of update will be happening, but we've been waiting for 2 years now. We can wait for a bunch more, I suppose. Also, another sort of completely unrelated note. I don't know why I said it was a related note. I'm just looking through my list here, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do a transition here to something completely different, and that's not exactly how that works. But okay, I was watching some YouTube videos and was very surprised to see a trailer on one of them for the Warcraft movie. Apparently, is coming out 2016 maybe sometime. I didn't quite catch the date on it, but I was watching. For once, I watched an entire long ad on YouTube, which every so often YouTube will as I'm watching videos, will spit out a movie trailer that I haven't seen yet. Like I watched the one for Spectre on there, and then I watched this Warcraft one, and it looks interesting. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the Warcraft lore. I've never. I'm one of those few people that has never played World of Warcraft. I have never actually played any of the Warcraft games. None of the RPG. They're all real-time strategy games, right? I think. Yeah, I haven't played any of them at all. So I know almost nothing about the lore. I know that there's humans. I know that there's orcs, and I know that there's other races, but like blood elves and stuff like that. But I don't know really anything else about it. So for me, I looked at that movie, I was like, oh, this might actually be kind of interesting. I mean, it's going to be Hollywoodified, So it's probably not going to be with that, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for, to the source material. It's not going to be as faithful to the source material probably, but who knows, maybe it will be. I don't know. As someone who's never gotten into that thing, I might watch that movie and think it's really great, and somebody who's been who is well versed in Warcraft might think it's crap. I don't know. It might be one of those things that goes on my list as a guilty pleasure, along with what are some of the other movies I consider guilty pleasures? Starship Troopers is one. What is I guess Robin Hood Men in Tights would be a guilty pleasure, although that's really a really good movie. That and Spaceballs are really good movies, so I guess they're not really that guilty. Princess Bride, I suppose you could also qualify as a guilty pleasure, but it's not. I mean, it's actually a rather fantastic, dark comedy. So it's hard to say that they are that. I think a lot of people probably enjoy all those movies. So I'm trying to think of, is there anything else other than fan-made stuff that I would consider guilty pleasure that I have DVDs for? I have actually a couple fan DVDs that, fan-made films. Press Start was one of them, and I have the DVD of the first, was it 5 seasons of Red vs. Blue from what do they call themselves now? Rooster Teeth. Yes. the name took a little while to get back into my head, but yeah, I have the DVD of their first 5 seasons. That used to be their web series I used to watch on their site before they moved over to YouTube and do everything there. So that's I guess you could qualify those as guilty pleasures, but I mean they're not professionally made quote unquote things, so they're kind of fan made stuff. So I guess it is what it is. So anyway, yeah, Warcraft movie. I don't have all the details for it. I don't have a link for it either. I just didn't feel like the need to link you to a paragraph that says there's a Warcraft movie. It's like you've pretty much told you that. So there you go. There's that. Also, other short tidbits of news here. Fallout 4 is releasing on the 10th, and if you own it, you can preload it now. If you pre-ordered it, I should say, you can preload it now. I just preloaded it in Steam yesterday, so it is there and ready to go. I believe if you preloaded it on one of the platforms, I think it was the Xbox 360 or one of those platforms, I think you might have to preload it again because it wasn't quite right. It was like a placeholder and not the actual executable. So you may have to go check that if you've done it on a console. But on the PC, I have it on Steam, and I was able to preload it. As far as I know, it seemed to go through okay. So that is coming. I will probably, more than likely, I will be doing that as a live stream because it's just an open world game and it's going to be a lot of downtime of doing things. But I may also do recaps of it on the YouTube channel. So I've been thinking about this for a while, and it's sort of starting to coalesce in my brain a little bit. But I wanted to, I have the Memory League Doom channel, which is just for live streams, and I've been doing, what is that? Borderlands. I've been playing through Borderlands on that. Still got a long way to go on the first Borderlands, but I'm playing all the side quests and all the DLC and all that stuff. I've been doing that over there. Also been doing that as a restream most of the time, although this last Friday I didn't do a restream because the servers were going to reboot while I was live streaming, so I decided to just live stream straight to my Memory League Doom channel just so I wouldn't have to worry about that. So normally I restream those. That means it goes out to both Hitbox and Twitch TV. And I was thinking, even though you can go see everything over on the YouTube channel, on the Memory League Doom channel, I thought it would be kind of nice if I just did like little recaps of what happened in those streams as a video, just a short video that I would put on the channel, probably on Mondays, maybe. We'll see on that one. But I thought that would be kind of a good way of doing things with not only the live streams, having a little cross-mogination, if you will, and also giving you like, here's a few highlights if you want to go check out the whole stream and that kind of thing. Especially useful for the Fallout 4 stuff, because I've been on the fence, like, should I do a proper series, or should I just do a live stream, or should I do both? And I was thinking, well, if I do both, that's a lot of work. It's a lot of editing, right? Because I have to go through all of the footage again, and I have to go and edit out all the pieces that I think are good, get rid of all the downtime, like I do with The Witcher 3, which I've put on hold for a while because I run out of time to actually do The Witcher 3. So given all that, I was like, well, since I'm already falling behind on The Witcher 3 and I've got other things going on, maybe it'd be better if I just picked out a few little tidbits here and there and put them together in a little recap kind of thing. And I could also mix them in if I want to. I don't know if I'm going to mix them in yet or not, but we'll see. But if I play Borderlands along the way as well, and I do the Fallout 4 as a separate stream, which I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do like the Borderlands on Fridays, and then Fallout 4 maybe on a Sunday thing, and then try to keep both of those going on those days. Then if I do that, then I can kind of, when I do the wrap up, or not the wrap up, but the recap, then I might be able to recap both of those streams. You can see kind of, oh, here's what I did over here, and here's what I'm doing over here, and then there's links, and then you can go check things out. But yeah, I've been thinking about that. We'll see what happens. The big, I guess it's not really a problem, but it could be a problem. The problem with it is I have to record the live streams locally, which takes up hard drive space, which I'm already kind of pushing it with the hard drive space, because I'm recording a lot of things at 60 FPS now. So because of that, everything's taking up like 3 times the amount of space it would normally take. So it's I'm having to manage that pretty tightly. Like I record 2-hour sessions of things sometimes, and they can take upwards of about 600 gigs. And I've got a 2 terabyte drive, so you can do the math there. I've got so many series going on. You can see what's happening. Plus, I've got a bunch of footage just hanging around that I need to actually render out. Like, I still have a bunch of Witcher 3 footage hanging around, and Concrete Jungle, which I will have to get that footage out. That might end up being the last episode of Concrete Jungle, at least for a while. The problem is I cannot get past this next guy, and you'll see when I actually get the footage out there that I lose pretty badly to one of the on one of the maps, and I have no way of progressing forward, right? Because there's no difficulty setting. It's just you get what you get. The map is what it is. So I've been throwing myself against this one challenge constantly, and I haven't succeeded yet. If I do succeed, I'll continue the series, but I feel like it's best if I kind of just end it there for now. I mean, this is not unprecedented. I've done this before with other things where the game just gets ridiculously hard and I can't do anything about it, and then maybe pick it up again if I manage to get past the part that I'm stuck at. Because my fear is that I might get past this, but then the next map after it is going to be even worse, and then it's just going to be just one struggle after another and not any real benefit to it. So like I said, I'm going to play that by ear, but probably more than likely the last episode, an early end to Concrete Jungle, is going to be happening this week once I record some voiceover, and I'll do some post commentary on it too to try to explain that during the footage as well, so that everyone's in the know when it comes to that. That said, Soul Zero will continue forward because I'm not having any problems with that. I've also been chomping at the bit to get started on another Star Trek game, or a Star Trek game on the channel. I haven't had any Star Trek games on the channel yet, so I have an idea for one that I want to do, and I have it all set up and ready to go. I just have to pull the trigger on it, and that's what I've been kind of struggling with because I got a lot of other things going on and a lot of streams I want to do, and my time is not getting any. I'm not getting any more time to do things than what I already have. So I'm trying to balance all of those things in my head. Plus, continuing forward with Rebel Galaxy, which I really enjoy, and I really want to keep playing that. So that's why it's kind of a balancing act, because I still have to record some Rebel Galaxy, but I've got all these other things I'm recording too, and it's just as much as I tried to reduce my workload, I've gone right back to where I was with the workload. It's my problem in my head is that I have all these games that I want to play, that I want to share with you guys, and I don't have the ability to get through all of them in a timely fashion. So I'm going to end up just playing new games very, very well past when they were new. You know what I mean? Which is fine. There's plenty of people who play like older games on their channels. It's just that it's kind of kicking my butt right now with trying to get all that done and do the side quest videos and other things, which I'm really thinking of dropping the side quest videos down to just one a week again, just doing them on Wednesdays like I was doing. Because I still have a lot of them that I want to play, but I don't have enough time to give them the treatment they deserve, really. And I really want to make sure that I'm playing the games enough ahead of time that I kind of get a feel for what's in there, so that I can give a good first impression. Well, I can give a decent enough amount of information during my video to allow you to see what's going on under the covers. So yeah, Fallout 4 turned into a big long discussion about other things. That is the way I roll here in Cube Ramblings, my friends. What else we got here? So I have a few things left over from last week, but also I want to talk about the things I've played this week and finished this week. Namely, I finished Transformers Devastation. And as I was mentioning a little bit earlier, I ran into, when I run into problems where I can't get past something, I start to get really frustrated and I have to do something to enable me to get past that last hurdle. So, as you saw in the episode that went up yesterday, the finale, I basically went back and just changed it to easy mode, and I had to redo the whole chapter again, but then I was able to get past the final boss, Megatron, and see the ending and all that stuff. So it was what it was. I literally threw myself at Megatron at least 30 to 40 times at the normal, the warrior difficulty that I was on. And it was just not, I was not making any progress at all. I was getting killed constantly, very quickly, and not really doing any damage to him. So I feel like of all the bosses in that game, Megatron was the most unbalanced one. It was you go into easy mode and he was really easy. You go into warrior mode, which is normal, and he was like ridiculously hard. And I can't imagine what it was like in expert mode. Like, I just can't. I can't. You'd have to have 16 thumbs to get past him. I would say. But it's you know, I not above doing that, but it felt like there was not enough balance there. You know, it felt like they went a little bit too far in the OP area with Megatron in normal mode. That was my my take on that, and I talk about that during the credits and all that stuff. So I'm not going to rehash all that over and over again, but I do have a link to VG247, another review on Transformers Devastation, because I like to make sure you guys get the benefit of all the different reviews, especially when I talk about something that I've played. So you can go take a look at what they said about it. They generally liked it. I didn't see anything, they didn't mention anything in their article that was particularly glaring. I mean, you know, there's a few things with the battle system. I was having a lot of trouble with it, with getting it to register that I had dodged things, but you know, it was still very good, still a lot of fun, still very much enjoyed it. So that is a good buy if you want to go after it. I would, if you're a patient gamer, you'll probably make out really well on that. I would say, you know, it's not something you would have to run out and buy now, but I would wait for it to go on sale and then probably pick it up. It's very decent at what it does, and well, a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I know that Generation 1 Transformers is not something that the youngins would probably like, because it was very much a product of the 80s and us crazy people who were born in the 80s. But I enjoyed it. It was cheesy in all the right ways, is the way I can explain that. And for the side quest videos this week, I played two games. I played Dragonfin Soup, which is a game I kickstarted, or helped kickstart back in the day. I've been waiting for that for a while. Played it. It was competent. You know, it wasn't necessarily blowing my socks off. It was very roguelike. It had all the controls of a roguelike. It was weird in many ways. Like you couldn't, to get into the menus, the option menu, you can't control the options menu with your keyboard and mouse. You had to control it with the joystick. Or, well, actually, you could control it with the keyboard, or you had to use the arrow keys, but you couldn't control it with the mouse or the scroll wheel, and you can only do, or the gamepad, and that was kind of weird. And there was no, you know, transparency in the game. So the one level I was going through that forest, and I couldn't see a damn thing. I couldn't see where I was going. I couldn't see who I was battling. One of the NPCs was doing all the work for me as far as battling things, so I didn't have to do that much. I have a link here to Rock Paper Shotgun. They did a review on it, and they've listed out quite a few of the failings that I didn't even get to. There was, you know, it did feel like it hadn't been play tested very well in certain cases, because there were some weird just control issues going on. There's apparently you could get random encounters while traveling, which I didn't get while I was playing. But the problem with that is, after you've fought all the bandits and everything that have waylaid you, you don't get an opportunity to pick up all the stuff that was dropped. So it just literally drops you back into the menu, into the map screen, and you continue on your way. So that's kind of weird, because, you know, obviously they might be dropping some good loot and you can't get to it because of that. And they say that the movement on the controller is bad, which I didn't use a controller. I mean, it was a roguelike, so I figured mouse and keyboard was the way to go, and it was competent with the mouse and keyboard. It was very inaccurate as far as where, like, I clicked somewhere and I was like, did I click on the right thing? Did I not click on the right thing? Sometimes you end up clicking on pots and destroying them and then getting charged for the destruction of them, instead of when you didn't really want to do that. And so it was kind of very imprecise in how you were doing the movement in very many cases. I can't imagine how it was with the controller. They say it was pretty bad, so I'm going to go with what they've said there because I don't know for my own sake. Also, there were some bugged out quests where you could continue to get the quest rewards by talking to someone over and over and over again. So it just seems like it was not well. It seems like it really needed a good beta run, and I think that's what surprised me the most about it. Was I was surprised that it was even out and ready to go, because being that I kickstarted it, I was kind of expecting there to be some sort of beta, even if it was like a closed beta, where people could just kick the tires and let them know how everything's working. And it looks like, I mean, maybe there was one, and it was for a higher price tier than what I put in for, but it seems like there was not enough playtesting that went into it. Honestly, it seems like the main moral of that story, and perhaps that would have been mitigated had they done some sort of beta or on it for the Kickstarter backers. I don't know. I don't know. It's a shame because it looks like it's got a lot of heart to it, and it looks like it's got a lot of potential for meat on the bones. But it sounds like it's kind of repetitive, and it's got a bunch of bugs, and it's kind of clumsy in places, which, you know, kind of sucks. Honestly, it really does. And yes, they even mention on here the inventory takes multiple clicks to do things. That was kind of odd. It felt like a holdover for mobile tablets and stuff, where you have to do click, 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 click to get through things. When, you know, on the PC, you've got more real estate, you can do more with it, and you don't have to do quite that badly. But you know, maybe, or even a holdover from consoles, even for that purpose. But yep, I will link you to Rock Paper Shotgun for their impressions on the game. You can take a look at it. It is, like I said, it seems like it's got a lot of heart to it, and I can imagine it being a lot of fun. But it does have very mixed reviews on Steam, and you know, it does have some less than stellar parts to it. The word that I'm struggling to put out there. So that is that for Dragonfin Soup. And then Galak-Z, I just played on Friday for the side quest video. It's a top-down shooter, 2D shooter, with rogue-like elements to it. We're getting a pattern here, but it seems like every game nowadays has some kind of rogue-like or rogue-lite mechanics in it. But this one is a spin on sort of 70s and 80s cartoon space cartoons, and you go around and in your fighter ship, taking on enemies, trying to get through various objectives, and then you return to your home base in between each section and get your upgrades and go out and fight some more. And it's kind of brutal hard. I mean, it's not, I didn't get to a brutal level yet, but it was pretty darn hard. It's very unforgiving. There is, you know, it's not really permadeath, but there is two modes. There's the classic mode, which is you die, you go back to your mothership at whatever section you were in the particular season, whatever episode you are in the season, it starts over again. And then there's a hardcore mode where it will send you back to the beginning of a season. You know, it only saves every five episodes. So that's, each season is 5 episodes, and then, you know, it sends you back to the beginning of the season. Each episode is has a randomly generated episode title, which is pretty cool. It generates some pretty funny things, I think. A lot of tongue-in-cheekness going on there. And it looks like it's got some depth to it as far as the upgrades and stuff go, but I didn't get very far in the game because it was kicking my butt pretty good there. So you know, I assume that there's quite a lot more that I could have unlocked along the way that I just didn't get a chance to see. But that is the way the roguelikes go. They are very unforgiving, and they do you do die quite often, and that seems to be the case in Galak-Z as well. And that is out on Steam, and I will link you to Rock Paper Shotgun, who did a review on it, and it's a pretty stellar review actually that they gave it. They quite liked it, and I didn't mind it either. It was pretty good. I didn't mind it at all. Not necessarily something that's in my wheelhouse per se, although it is sci-fi and it is, you know, shooty, but it worked. It worked for me. I would probably revisit it at some point and try to figure out how to not suck so bad at it. And then another game that I reviewed in a side quest video many moons ago, that I didn't realize it apparently has just come out fully released on Steam, because it was in early access for a while. But apparently they've done a full release. It's called Clendestine, or Clendestine, or whatever, however you want to pronounce that, Clendestine. It's a cooperative stealth game, sort of asymmetrical cooperative stealth game, which means that you, one person can take on the role of the hacker, which is helping the other person out by, you know, looking at the overhead map and hacking into various systems to unlock doors for them and things of that nature, you know, telling them if there's enemies nearby. And then the other person is the actual infiltrator, which goes in and tries to remove various things of importance from areas that they should not be in without getting caught, hopefully, because you can't really last too long in a battle if you do. It does have a single player mode as well, which is why it was interesting to me, where you play as both characters. Basically, you can jump between the infiltrator and the hacker and help you get yourself through various maps. And I played the very early version of it, the very early alpha of it, and it was going along pretty well. It still had a lot of stuff to be done yet. I mean, it was still very, very raw around the edges. But apparently they've released, which I didn't feel like there was that much time that had been in early access, much time to really make all the changes, but apparently there have been. Although they do say here that it's may have needed to be, I don't know. I mean, the rating is very positive, but there are consistent reports of clipping and performance issues. But people are still sticking with it, which is good, because I feel like it had a lot of goodness to it. They just need to do some things. So I had a lot of clipping problems, not clipping problems, but I had a lot of just not being able to get past walls and stuff like that, and you know, waist high things that were causing me issues. But otherwise, it worked pretty well for me. There are still apparently a few bugs still here and there, but not too many from what I can tell. So I guess hopefully it's a good launch. I will probably go back and revisit it and take another look at it for a side quest video this week, hopefully, and see what has happened and see what has changed. And if it's pretty good, I might end up doing a series on it, but not anytime soon. But I'm kind of interested in it, and I'll leave you a link to the Rock Paper Shotgun article on it, announcing that it had been released. And you can go maybe take a look at the video. They have a video on there of the launch trailer, and you know, you can maybe go back if you want to and watch my side quest video of it. I do link whenever I do a side quest video on something that I own on Steam. I tend to link it to my. I tend to upload the video to Steam. So if you go to the community pages for a lot of my side quest videos, you should hopefully see my video there somewhere. Probably way down the bottom where nobody wants to look. But I do that. So if you want to go over there and take a look at the community page and view the video from there, you are welcome to do so. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. In addition to that, another video that we did a side quest video on, as well as a few live streams actually, Invisible Ink. Invisible Ink is getting a expansion, a DLC expansion now, 6 months after its initial release here. It's called Contingency Plan, And it's going to give you 4 new agents, 2 new starting programs, new weapons, items, and augments, and corporations have added a variety of new threats and challenges to test players in skills in a new extended campaign. Corporations have expanded their roster with both new units and abilities, as well as more advanced versions of a familiar guard. It also adds new challenges and more time to develop your team, which is kind of good. So, Invisible Ink is a isometric roguelike with a turn-based, and you are basically spies infiltrating high-tech facilities, and you're trying to get all the data and stuff that you can out of there, and then getting out as soon as possible. It does very much do the old roguelike formula of risk reward. So you can stay there for as long as you want, but the longer you stay there, the harder the enemies become, the more alarms come online, and so on and so forth. You can hack things to try to help your way get through some things, but eventually all those will fail, and you'll have to deal with getting away from guards and getting to the elevator, basically. And it's pretty good. I've played it quite a few times, and it's a lot of fun. And the expansion's coming out. I don't know. I think it's a paid DLC. I think. Yeah, $5. $5 for that. There's 10% launch discount if you get it on day one. But yeah, I really enjoy Invisible Ink. It's one of those games that I would play more often if I streamed more, because I feel like it's good for streaming. I have this thing with roguelikes where I know that there are people out there on YouTube that do roguelikes for, do series on them, like FTL and everything else. And I did a little series on FTL, but nothing to write home about. But the problem is, and I've tried to do series on them before, but the problem is that I end up not getting very far, and I end up repeating them over and over and over again. And I feel like that's not very good. I don't know. For YouTube, it's not. I feel like that's not very good watching, because you want to see somebody who's actually progressing in the game, and I tend to just fail horribly every time I do something. FTL in particular, I've gotten to the end of FTL, I think 3 times out of the 60 odd times I played the game, and every time I get to the end, I fail in the first like 2 to 3 minutes of the end boss. It's just I just can't do it. And I've tried to do it. I tried playing Ironcast, which is another one I like, and I can't get very far in that either. So I don't know. I feel like doing series on those is kind of would be boring, because I'm just going to constantly fail over and over again and not get any further than I did. But for a live stream, it's not that bad, because you can just kind of do one live stream here and there and just sit down and just play them, and just have some fun. Or if they could be background while I talk about something else. Like if I didn't have Cube World here for this series, I would probably play through one of those games and have that as the backdrop for this, rather than and same for if I do channel updates and stuff, I might do them as backdrops as well. So it's things like that. I think it lends itself well to. Doesn't lend itself quite as well to. It's really good. I think it's actually particularly good for live streaming, because they're all turn-based, which means you can sit there and think about things. You don't have to. You're not necessarily under the gun, and that also gives you a chance to kind of look over and read chat and talk to people as you're doing things. And these are really good for that, and I really probably should do more of that as live streams. But I just trying to get the time to do that, and everything else has just been. There's a theme here, and the theme is I ain't got no time. I ain't got no time, because I got too many things going on. But that's always been the case ever since I started my channel. I always had too many things going on and not enough time. It's a sickness, an illness, something I have been unable to cure from myself. But to to everybody else's benefit, hopefully. If you like seeing my videos, then you probably like the amount of videos I put out, hopefully. But yeah, I will link you to Destructoid, an article just talking about the new DLC for this, for Invisible Ink, and it's coming out on November the 12th for, it looks like, $5, which I've pretty much given you all the information from the article. But you know, it's there if you want to take a look at it. You know, give some clicks where they are deserved, I'd say. Okay, so the other thing that came out this week, or came up this week, that is a bit, you know, I wouldn't say controversial, but it's certainly on a lot of people's radars. Overwatch, the next Blizzard game, that is very similar to Team Fortress 2, and is in fact compared to Team Fortress 2 quite often. It's a multiplayer arena game, not a MOBA, but it does have, you know, it's basically a shooter, just like Team Fortress 2. You got objectives and two teams duking it out. Various heroes. You've got 21 heroes, I believe, at launch, and various other things. A lot of people, because it looks and feels and a lot like Team Fortress 2, a lot of people were assuming incorrectly that it was going to be a free-to-play game, and no, it's not. Blizzard confirmed that it is not free-to-play, and that all versions of the games will come with 21 heroes for now, although you'll probably have to buy heroes later on as the game progresses, obviously. So there will probably be microtransactions. In fact, almost definitely will be microtransactions along the way for skins and other things. Because after all, this is Blizzard, and it is going to be a long-running thing. So, you know, they're going to keep trying to make money wherever they can. But a lot of people were up in arms because it wasn't free to play, which is interesting because Team Fortress 2, when it first came out, was not free to play either. It only became free to play a few years ago, honestly. It was a paid-for game prior to that. But yeah, that is coming out. I actually really like what I've seen thus far of Overwatch. I see a bunch of YouTubers have put up betas or videos of them playing through the beta. I've signed up for the beta, but you know, I may not get access to it. Who knows? I did get access to like Heroes of the Storm, so maybe I'll get access to in beta. But so maybe I'll get access to Overwatch. That'll be kind of cool because I want to kind of see it and play it a little bit and see what it's like, because I never played Team Fortress 2. I've seen videos of it. It looks like it would be a lot of fun, but I just never was. I felt like I was so late to the game that there was no way I could have been even remotely competitive in it. Like, there's just people that are just too damn good in it, and I don't quite understand all the things going on. Like, at the time that I looked at it, there was like hats and these boxes and crates and you know, stuff you had to pay for, stuff you didn't have to pay for. It was all, as someone who had never played the game, it was all just a little bit too much to take in. So I just said, screw it, I'm just going to continue to not play that game. So I'm hoping to get in on Overwatch. I mean, I'm not going to get in early because obviously there's already people that are, there's already, you know, esports spinning up over it. Like, there's people who are ridiculously good at the game, and it's still not even been, people haven't even touched it yet. Most of the people haven't even touched it yet. So, and the same thing was true with Heroes of the Storm. I was playing through the alpha, or was it the alpha? No, the beta of it, and like getting told that I sucked because, you know, I was doing everything wrong. And I'm like, well, but it's my first time playing. Of course I suck. It's a beta, for crying out loud. You see the word beta on the screen there? It still means something, you know. But of course, Here's the Storm being a MOBA, it's going to be a little bit more toxic than hopefully Overwatch. Hopefully Overwatch won't be that toxic. In fact, the fact that you got to pay to get into it might be even better for it, because then you're not going to get, you might not get quite as much of the rebel rousers, the rabble is what I was looking for, the rabbles in there, because they have to fork out some money for it. So that might help. I've actually pre-ordered it. You can pre-order it right now. There's a couple different versions. There's a $40 version which has just the 21 heroes and nothing else. There's the Origins edition which comes with 5 hero skins, I believe, or 5 skins for 5 characters, or no, 1 skin for 5 characters, or I don't know. One of those things. It's 5 characters and skins for them. Their Origin quote-unquote skins. Like Reaper, Blackwatch Rays, Strike Commander Marson, Overgrown Bastion, Security Chief Pariah, or Farah? Security Chief Farah? Pariah. Where did I get Pariah from? I have no idea. Slipstream Tracer. They all have skins in the Origins edition, and there's something else that comes with it too that I didn't quite read, but I didn't really care. So basically, it's the basic edition with a couple skins that you would have ended up having to pay for in the microtransaction shop, probably. And then the limited collector's edition, which is retail only. You can't download that digitally because it's got physical stuff in it. That comes with the same content as all the other stuff, plus a full color art book, the soundtrack, and a collectible statue of Soldier 76. So there's that going on. And those who pre-purchase any version of the game will be handed the Noir skin for Widowmaker at launch. So don't know what any of that means, but I guess I will figure it out as it happens. I will leave you a link to VG247, which explains everything that I just said there about Overwatch. But yeah, it is not going to be free to play, which I'm fine with. You know, I know that there's going to be microtransactions and stuff in there, and you know, the nature of microtransactions being what they are, it's, you know, oh, you can earn these, but you got to grind and grind and grind and grind and grind for them. So, you know, I've heard that the grind in Hearthstone is pretty darn bad. So if that's any condition, then Overwatch is probably going to be just as bad as that, if not worse, as far as the grind goes, I would imagine. But honestly, I don't see that really bothering me all that much, because the way I see it, there's 2 types of multiplayer games, and one type is slowly dying off, and that's the subscription-based ones. And I always had a problem with subscription-based MMOs, or multiplayer games for that matter, not just MMOs. And that problem is I have to justify that monthly subscription, and most of the times I can't because I'm soloing stuff. I'm not, you know, trying to join clans and do all that crap. I'm just jumping in for 5-10 minutes and doing something and then jumping back out again. Just making a little bit of progress and then getting out. And I can't see myself paying a subscription fee for that. In this particular case, the one-time entry fee I find is okay. I'm cool with that. Like, yes, somebody's got to be you got to pay your devs and your art and your musicians and all that place. So yes, the one-time fee, cool. I know a lot of people would like to see that and then have no microtransactions, but let's be honest here. A game like this, that's a multiplayer game that has shades of Team Fortress 2 in it. Just look at how long Team Fortress 2 has been around. It's been around a long time, and Overwatch will probably be around just as long. World of Warcraft has been around for a long time. StarCraft has been around for a long time, even though I almost forgot the name of it. And it's just, when you have a game like that, you're not going to get away from the microtransactions. Now, they could have pulled the valve and did what they did with Team Fortress 2 and say, you know, everything's free for the first 2 years or something, and then go free to play, and then the microtransaction store comes in. They could have done that, but honestly, there are so many fans of Blizzard games that are rabid about their fandom that it would be almost dumb for the suits at Blizzard to not go, yeah, we're going to milk this right away. Cause millions and millions can be made off of those fans. And so, yeah, I mean, yeah, I would not expect anything less. If it was a newcomer to the, an indie developer, this would be a mistake, but it's Blizzard and it's probably not. Let's be fair. Let's be fair. It's probably not for them. Especially given that their flagship, World of Warcraft, they have stopped, and I don't have a link to an article for this, but they're going to stop, Blizzard's going to stop communicating as to how many subscribers they have in World of Warcraft because the subscriber count has been dropping off dramatically. Like 500,000, I think I saw something that was like either 500,000 a month or 1 million a month at some points. Or a quarter. I don't know if it was a month or a quarter. I don't remember. But they, at one point in time, I believe they were up at like 12 million subscribers. And the last count, they were at 5.5 million. So, yeah, that is no longer, it's probably not a money-making endeavor for them anymore. And it might not have been for a while either. But it's starting to really fall by the wayside. And so I would imagine the subscriber drop off on that has caused this other thing to happen the way it has. Like, if they still had 10 million subscribers in World of Warcraft, would they be doing the microtransactions as quickly on Overwatch? Maybe, maybe not, because they would be, funded by the other things. But I think most definitely now it's going to be a reality. Given that they're looking for their next big thing, and this might end up being the next big thing because from the footage that I've seen, it looks like it's a lot of fun, and it looks like it's pretty much as much fun as Team Fortress 2 looks like. But I feel like I'm finally, for me personally, I'll be on even footing for a change. Like almost even footing. I mean, obviously there's going to be people that eat, sleep, and breathe it, and try hard and become esports fanatics about it and trying to be MLG Pro and all that stuff, and they will be, and I will be standing still as far as they're concerned. But I still feel like I have an opportunity to get in relatively on the ground level with others in something that looks a lot of fun. So yeah, that's why I'm excited about it. I feel like I have an opportunity to play Team Fortress 2 without being completely playing something similar to Team Fortress 2 without being completely behind the times, being the old man going, why are these kids, these damn kids these days, and their hats and their crates and their Jello pudding pops. And Lord knows what else. They can all get off my lawn because I can't move as fast as they move. So maybe who knows? I mean, obviously my reflexes are not going to be good, but I'm not looking to be professional in any capacity. I'm just looking to have a little bit of fun and actually understand what the hell I'm doing. Is more importantly. So that is Overwatch. That is Overwatch. That's all I know on that thus far. And yeah, we're further along than I actually thought we were. I wanted to circle around to some of the things that I missed last week that I still had on my list. Hopefully I can knock these off pretty quickly. Batman Arkham Knight is back for sale on Steam. The PC version of that was hella broken, and unfortunately it is still hella broken. They didn't do really much of anything after taking it off of Steam and patching it, and they have come out and said that it will probably never be fully patched, and sorry. So the other thing is they're going to be offering refunds regardless of your playtime up until the end of the year. And this is one of those things where I'm like, I'm on the fence, right? I'm like, on the one hand, I'm like, if you were one of the few PC people where Arkham Knight worked flawlessly for you, or relatively flawlessly, and you're able to get through the game without too many problems, do you then, in solidarity to your fellows who did not have such a great time, do you get a refund to show your displeasure? Or because you got your enjoyment out of it, is that pushing it as far as ethical as far as ethics go? I mean, is that being too spiteful, or is that, you know, I'm of two minds of it, right? On the one hand, I'm like, you were able to play through a game and get some sort of enjoyment out of it, and the devs that spent time on it should get that money because you were able to enjoy it. But on the same hand, those devs should be, maybe not the devs, but the publisher should be punished for what they've done and allowing that to go out. But how do you actually punish a publisher, I guess, is the ultimate question in my head. Like, I could easily go and say, yeah, you know, WB is the bad guy here. They should not have pushed something out the way they did without it being properly QA tested and all that stuff. And they should have just waited a year like other games have done, and just get the PC version right and all that stuff. And they deserve to lose sales on that. But at the same point, are we really, like, by getting those refunds, are we really punishing them for it? I mean, it seems like the bad press and the bad media is kind of punishment, but at the same time, they've also published other games that were really good. Like, you know, a lot of people will call on, oh, we want to boycott this publisher because they did this one game wrong. But then you look at WB's publishing stuff, and I look at Mad Max, and Mad Max was a fantastic PC game, like fantastic. I mean, you could see the console roots in there, but it was still, it worked flawlessly, beautifully. I don't think anybody had any problems with it. There was maybe a few graphical glitches here and there, but nothing, you know, extraordinary. And I mean, it works on my computer, which is a couple years old and not the top of the line by any stretch of the imagination. You know, I have a GTX 570 or something in there. So on the one hand, they deserve to be rewarded for that, you know, the publisher and the devs. On the other hand, that same publisher shat out Batman Arkham Knight in the state that it's in, and have put it, not only did they take it off of Steam to fix it, but then they put it back onto Steam without fixing it and saying, yeah, oh well, here, just give us money anyway. It's like, how do you properly punish someone? How do you properly punish a publisher that has some games that are fantastic and some that aren't? Like, do you, even if you, like I said earlier, even if you didn't have any problems with Arkham Knight, do you get a refund anyway? Just to show solidarity to people who did have problems with it? Do you say, no, I got my enjoyment out of it, so oh well? I mean, do you boycott them? Because really, honestly, like I said, there's other games that do deserve your money and attention and time because they were done well. I don't know. How do you properly punish a publisher, I guess, is my real question there. I don't know how you do it. Obviously bad media attention is bad media attention, but not being a member, how do you as people who are just normal people who aren't part of the media, like, how do you properly do that? Like, it's easy to punish the devs because the devs are not going to get their payday because they didn't do a good job and all the refunds are happening. But you're not really punishing WB so much because there are other games that they've published that were good that do deserve the money. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know how you properly let them know that that's not acceptable anymore. I really don't. So I would say personally, like I don't own any of the Batman games, so I can't do this, but I would be very, very, very tempted, even if I had succeeded in getting through that game, if I owned it, I'd be very, very tempted to return it anyway. But that might be, I don't know, that might be spiteful, that might not be correct. I really don't know. I really don't know, honestly. But I wanted to touch on that because I feel like that opens up a question that maybe someone, eventually, someone a lot smarter than me will be able to devise some sort of answer to, maybe. In more pleasant news, Burnout Paradise, it was announced last week that it will be one of the games that is backwards compatible with the Xbox One. So if you own Burnout Paradise on the Xbox 360, like I do, then after this Xbox One backwards compatibility stuff starts to roll out, which is starts to roll out this month, I believe. I don't know what day this month, but I believe it's coming this month. It's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be part of the first wave, but it's definitely something that they're going to be working on for the backwards compatibility stuff. So you'll be able to play that then on your Xbox One, which will be kind of cool. I actually own it on the PC anyway, so that's fine by me. And I know a lot of people who are fans of the Burnout series were not fans of Burnout Paradise. I really liked Burnout Paradise, honestly. A lot of people liked the multiplayer. Even if they didn't like the single, they liked the multiplayer on it. In fact, when I was live streaming it the one day, there was still a lively multiplayer scene. There were still people multiplayering that. So it continues on even in this many years after its release. But I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. I like the open world racing things like that. There's not enough of them. There's not too many out there. You know, Forza Horizon was good. Forza Horizon 2, I mean. I didn't play the original Forza Horizon, but I heard that was good. You know, Driver San Francisco I thought was really good. Burnout Paradise is really good. There's some that aren't good. What was it? Not Drive Club. I didn't get to play Drive Club. What is the name of that? There was one that I tried playing on a stream, and it just sucked, and I couldn't deal with it anymore. And I haven't picked it up since, and I forget the name of it even. That's how bad it was. But that was one that was like a multiplayer one. And there was another one that was kind of a stinker too, that I can't. The name escapes me. But it wasn't. Oh, that wasn't a driving game though. That was more of that was more of a GTA-ish game. So, yeah, I don't know. I really like Burnout Paradise. I know there's a lot of people who want like Burnout Revenge and other Burnout games to get backwards compatibility. They have, as far as I know, have not announced anything like that. I would like that too because I do own Burnout Revenge, and that was pretty good. I like that game as well. So it would kind of be nice if I could play that on my Xbox One. That'd be kind of cool, I think. But they haven't announced anything like that, as far as I know. It's just Burnout Paradise for right now. So, and who knows? They might not even have the code for Burnout Revenge anymore because it's so old. But and when games change hands and change owners so many times, source code and everything else tends to get lost a lot. So and in addition to that, like the rights to do revamps on it tends to get passed around, and IPs get passed around, and all that stuff. Yeah, that pretty much covers the other things. I did have Detroit Become Human on here, but I don't have much to say about that. That's just from Quantic Dream. That was announced. They're the guys that do Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls. If you're into those genres, they announced Detroit Become Human. I'll leave you a link anyway to Eurogamer, which talks about it. There's a little video on there. It looks really interesting. All these games though are like PlayStation exclusive mostly, so I haven't gotten a chance to play them. They look like games that I would enjoy, like Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls look like something I would enjoy. I watched videos of them, but I'm not going to buy a PS4 just to play them. They're good, but they're not that good. So that's my stance on that, and I'll leave you a link there so you can go take a look at that video and see all the robots pretending to be humans walking around. So one thing I will say, they are very story heavy and very interactive movie-ish. So I guess that's why I enjoy those games, enjoy watching those games so much. I don't know if I would enjoy playing them that much, but I certainly enjoyed watching them. So that's another thing to put on that old list there. All right, and we got a couple of things to wrap up here. So I mentioned that I bought into the Humble Monthly Bundle, and it just came out on Friday, the very first one. And it's an interesting one. I was worried that I'd get a lot of games I'd already had before, and I'm happy to say there's only one game in here that I already had, that I already owned, and that's it. And that was Saints Row 4 is one of the games on here. There's 7 games that came in this bundle, and they're all pretty, well-received games. So I'd like to list them off here. So Saints Row 4 is one. This is the first one that came out in the bundle. Besiege, which is a nice little, I think it's still an early access. Yeah, early access game where you build siege weapons from various parts and try to take down medieval embankments, emplacements, I guess is what I want to say, castles and stuff. So I've seen a few videos on that. That looks really interesting. I never, thought to get into the early access for it, but now I am. Now I am. And it's overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam for that. Valkyria Chronicles, originally released for PlayStation 3, but has now been released on the PC earlier this year. I had a friend that I worked with, a colleague that I worked with, that really loved the Valkyria Chronicles game, and I'd heard about it, but I never knew what it was. And then he described it to me, and I was like, that sounds really crazy. Where it's like it's a real-time combat, but it's like you are in World War II, and because every time I looked at it, it had like sort of an anime look on it, but it's actually like you're in World War II tanks, and you're doing like real-time, what is it? Real-time strategy, is it? I think, yeah, or turn-based strategy. Sorry, it's like a turn-based strategy, but it's interesting. I didn't really think to. It just I saw the anime characters on. I was like, it's probably more anime crap that I don't want to deal with. But actually, it looks, he sort of sold me on it, but then I never really got around to buying it because it was mostly on PlayStation consoles, which I didn't really own. Although I do own a PlayStation 3, and that's actually one of the reasons why I bought the PlayStation 3, because I thought maybe I would buy some of these things. But yeah, no, I ended up not. But now I have it on PC, so I guess I will dig into that at some point, because I feel like I missed out on something here based on how he described it to me. Lethal League is the other one in the Humble Monthly Bundle, the very first one, and it's a multiplayer fighting game, basically fighting free for all. There are videos on YouTube of it. It's a pretty fast fighter, brawler, if you will, kind of. Not much else I can say about that. I haven't played it myself. I just seen a video or two on it. Sanctuary RPG. I believe this is the Black Edition. Yes, Sanctuary RPG Black Edition. This is an ASCII top-down RPG game. I had looked at it on Steam earlier, and I was like, that might be kind of an interesting thing. Although it's got sort of the ASCII art to it. But apparently it's very, very deep and very rich world, and that's why. And they spent all their time on that and no time on the art, which is why it's all ASCII stuff. But now I have it, I'm gonna probably dig into it at some point and just take a look at it and see what it's all about. But because I kind of looked at it and I was like, yeah, that's kind of neat, that's kind of interesting. It's got an old school RPG feel to it, but I didn't pull the trigger on it, and now I don't have to. I've got it, so there's a thing. Towerfall Ascension, I believe a tower defense game, question mark? Hit archery combat game, Towerfall. I don't know what it is. It just says Towerfall Ascension is the definitive version of the hit archery combat game Towerfall. Inspired by classics from the golden age of couch multiplayer, it's a local party game centering around hilarious, intense versus matches that are best played competitively with friends, cross-legged on the floor within punching distance of each other. So it's basically a local multiplayer. Sounds like a fighting game. I'm not really into the. I don't have anybody to play with, so that's probably just going to sit in my library. And then the one that's kicked it off all that you got right away upon buying into the bundle, Legend of Grimrock 2, which is a dungeon crawler, and it's got it's got a modern aesthetic to it, but it's got the old school dungeon crawling stuff. So it's like a 3D perspective, but you walk one step at a time, and you spin left, right, and north, south, east, and west, various cardinal directions, and clicking on various things and avoiding traps and having some puzzles to do. It's got all that. It's got like a your party pictures and the sort of turn-based, kind of semi-turn-based combat that you would expect from an old schooler there. So I haven't dug into that either. I haven't played the first one for that matter either. So I'll be interested to take a look at that. But yeah, all in all, this first bundle, which actually all the proceeds, or most of the proceeds, went to Child's Play charity, has been a really good one. There's only one game, Saints Row 4, that I already owned, and all the other ones I didn't. So I'm very surprised because I own a lot of games, and I was expecting that this would be a lot more of stuff that I already had, but no, it's very good selections here. Everything has very good reviews. So very happy to see that. Hopefully they continue with those bundles. It's enough for me to continue my subscription to it. It's a $12 a month subscription for it. So yeah, I'm going to continue and see what comes up for December. But so far so good. Humble Bundle, so far so good on that. All right. That will probably do it for this episode. The only other thing I have is that the GOG is doing their big fall sale. Bunch of things on sale right now, but all the ones that I can talk to you about are up in about 10 hours, which means by the time you hear this, there'll already be different ones here. But they're doing the spend get free games thing that they did before. So if you spend $5, you get System Shock 2 for free. If you spend $15, you get Chronicles of Riddick for free. And if you spend $30, you get Banished for free. A bunch of stuff on here. A lot of stuff is 75% off. The Witcher stuff is going pretty good there. A lot of different packs. Like I said, I'm not going to go through everything because all these are going to be different probably tomorrow by the time you read this, or listen to this, I should say. So it's going to be not... It's going to be out of date by then, but suffice to say, GOG is doing their fall sale, so you should probably go over there and take a look, see if there's any bundles of old games or good games that you wish to have in your possession. But like I said, that will do it for this episode of Cube Ramblings. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and I will see you next Sunday.